Welcome to the 119th regular convocation of Memorial University of Newfoundland, coming to you from the Arts and Culture Centre in St. John's. Approximately 1,000 degrees will be conferred in the 4 sessions of convocation this fall. The first session took place on October 4th in Corner Brook, where degrees were conferred upon approximately 60 graduates, most of whom had completed degree programs at Memorial's Grenfell campus. This second session, taking place at 10 a.m. on Thursday, October 18th, will include the conferring of the degrees of Bachelor of Arts Honors, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science Honors, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Physical Education, Bachelor of Recreation Cooperative, Bachelor of Recreation, Bachelor of Kinesiology Cooperative, Bachelor of Kinesiology, Bachelor of Nursing, Master of Arts, Master of Philosophy, Master of Physical Education, Master of Social Work, Master of Nursing, Master of Science in Medicine, Master of Science in Kinesiology, and Master of Public Health. Also at this session, an Honorary Doctor of Science degree will be awarded to evolutionary biologist Geoffrey Alan Parker. This session of convocation is being presided over by Dr. Susan Dyer Knight, Chancellor of Memorial University. The university procession is led by the University Marshal, Mr. Bert Riggs, retired from the University Library's archives, and Marshals Donna Walsh, Department of English Language and Literature, and Bryant Hammond, Office of the Registrar. The mace, a symbol of the authority vested in the university, is carried by Dr. David Pippi, Office of the Registrar. Convocation will be officially open when the mace is placed on the table in front of the presiding officer. The music for convocation is provided by Dr. David Bewley from Memorial's Faculty of Education and by members of the Mun Opera Workshop directed by Dr. Carolyn Schiller and Eldon Murray of Memorial's School of Music.
Please be seated. I would like to respectfully acknowledge the territory in which we gather as the ancestral homelands of the Beothuk, and the island of Newfoundland as the ancestral homelands of the Mi'kmaq and Beothuk. I would also like to recognize the Inuit of Nunatsiavut, Nunatuhavut, and the Innu of Nitassinan and their ancestors as the original people of Labrador. We strive for respectful relationships with all the peoples of this province as we search for collective healing and true reconciliation as we honor this beautiful land together. Welcome, everybody. I have the pleasant duty of declaring convocation open. And another pleasant duty, I would like to call on our President and Vice Chancellor, Dr. Gary Kaczynowski, to address convocation.
Chancellor, members of the Board of Regents, members of the Senate and faculty, members of the graduating class, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2018 Fall Convocation at Memorial University. We're so pleased that you've joined us for what is always a special time in the life of a university, a time when we celebrate the success of our students. So, of course, a special welcome, congratulations to every one of you, our graduating students. I know that your parents and family and friends and professors all played supporting roles in your success, and they are all here to celebrate your accomplishments. But make no mistake, ultimately it was your dedication, hard work, and talent that brought you here today. So congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating our graduating students. Joining us on stage this morning is Mr. Doug Leto, a member of the Board of Regents of Memorial. All of our regents, and there are a number of them that are here, volunteer their time and contribute significantly to the governance of our university. Would you please join me in acknowledging and welcoming our regents? Today, a special individual will join the ranks of those who have received the university's highest honor, the Honorary Doctorate degree. I'm speaking of Dr. Geoffrey Parker, who has been called one of the greatest living theoreticians in evolutionary biology. He has made a lifetime contribution to the foundations and development of behavioral ecology, in particular understanding evolutionary adaptations and their consequences for natural populations. For his leadership and significant contributions to biology, Dr. Parker will receive an Honorary Doctor of Science degree this morning, and you will hear more about and from him a little later. I'm also pleased to acknowledge recent changes to our academic leadership team. Just last month, Dr. Linda Rohr was appointed Dean of the School of Human Kinetics and Recreation. For the past 14 years at Memorial, Dr. Rohr has been an academic staff member in the school, and most recently also served as Associate Dean Undergraduate Studies for the School of Human Kinetics and Recreation. And in April, we welcomed a new Dean of Pharmacy, Dr. Sean Bugden. Dr. Bugden came to Memorial from the University of Manitoba, where he was an Associate Professor in the College of Pharmacy, Faculty of Health Sciences, and an Adjunct Scientist in the Manitoba Centre of Health Policy in their College of Medicine. Next month, we will welcome Dr. Gavin Watson as the new Director of the Center for Innovation in Teaching and Learning. Dr. Watson comes to us from Western University, where he most recently served as Associate Director, E-Learning, in the Center for Teaching and Learning, and as Adjunct Research Professor in the Center for Research on Teaching and Learning in Higher Education. Please join me in welcoming our new senior academic leaders. Finally, I would like to acknowledge longtime Memorial Professor, Professor Emeritus, and Memorial's official public orator, Shane O'Day, who has announced that he will retire from his oration duties. Professor O'Day began as an orator in 1982, became public orator in 1995, and since that time has delivered dozens of orations, never an easy task. Ingredients of a good oration include humor, inspiration, narrative, and brevity, all while communicating a glowing resume of the honoree's accomplishments. Professor O'Day never failed to deliver. He is a true wordsmith with a flair for oration. He has said he enjoyed every oration he prepared, no matter how difficult they may have been. On behalf of the entire Memorial University community, I offer my sincere thanks to Professor O'Day for his more than 3 decades of leadership, dedication, and contributions to successful Memorial Convocations. Would you please join me in thanking him? Every degree conferred today is the result of a personal journey requiring significant commitment and work, and by itself is worthy of considerable accolades. as an important milestone in each student's life. And yet, every year, our students amaze us with leaderships and achievements above and beyond their required programs or responsibilities that distinguish them at a national or international level. Our 2011 Teaching and Learning Framework highlighted our aspirations for our students. It also articulated the vision, core values, and principles of our approach to teaching and learning, and described the characteristics of a vibrant teaching and learning community at Memorial. The framework's foundational statement placed students and student learning at the center of everything that we do. It acknowledged explicitly that our social contract to educate our students is at the core of all our activities, including research and scholarship and public engagement. And it is through this student focus that we set our priorities and fulfill our mandate as a nationally competitive public teaching research university. And having realized key objectives of our original Teaching and Learning Framework, Memorial is looking to the future with a renewed Teaching and Learning Framework for 2018 to 2023. Approved by Memorial's Academic Senate just last week, this new guiding document continues Memorial's commitment to innovation and excellence in teaching and learning, with a new focus on transformative student experience that integrates accessibility, engagement, and student success. The renewed framework requires Memorial's teaching and learning resources and capabilities to come together more formally and effectively through collaborative and interdisciplinary initiatives. It also integrates activities of Memorial's other two foundational frameworks in research and public engagement, and together they serve to fulfill the university's mission under the guidance of our institutional values. To support the implementation of the renewed Teaching and Learning Framework and promote leadership in teaching and learning across the university, Memorial's CITL, the Center for Innovation and Teaching and Learning, will take on a more central role and a broader mandate and vision, and a new multi-stakeholder advisory council will also help CITL foster relationships and build capacity to support teaching and learning. This work involved broad consultation and incredible effort, and I would like to thank Dr. Noreen Golfman, Provost and Vice President Academic, and her tremendous team, which was chaired by Dr. Rob Shea, Associate Vice President Academic for the Marine Institute, and also Dr. Kim Merrick from CITL, who helped craft the final framework. Would you please join me in acknowledging their contributions to our teaching and learning? We tell our stories of success and achievements throughout the year in our alumni magazine, Luminous, on our Gazette news site, and of course each year in our online President's Report. Together, they tell the story of the incredible impact of the exceptional people at Memorial University and how, as active, engaged citizens, they make the world a better place to live, safer, more prosperous, and definitely more interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, our university's origin, our vision, mission, and core values paint a picture of who we were, who we are, and what we aspire to become. Memorial is focused on meeting the needs of our students, developing innovative living and learning spaces, building and renewing appropriate infrastructure for 21st century teaching, research, and public engagement, and making a difference in our communities. The university embodies the aspirations of those who founded Memorial University College in 1925 to be a living legacy to those who paid the ultimate price for our freedom in the First World War and in subsequent conflicts. A living legacy dedicated to the advancement of our society through education and the discovery of new knowledge. Graduates, you are part of this legacy. You walked into this hall today as students who have successfully completed the requirements of your degrees. You will leave as graduates of Memorial University, as alumni, joining a family of more than 90,000 strong. You've earned the rights and the privileges associated with your degree, and now this is your time to take to heart the responsibilities that also come with your degree and make your mark in Newfoundland and Labrador and across the country and around the globe. Best wishes to each of you as you leave here today to begin the next adventures in your lives. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me once again in congratulating our graduates.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kaczynowski. I think you have a bit of a croaky chancellor this morning. I apologize. We shall now proceed with the conferring of your degrees. And I'm going to address the rest of the audience, not the candidates for the degrees at this moment, and call on you for a special favor. We have lots of wonderful people coming through this ceremony this morning, and I'm going to ask you that unless some special circumstance is mentioned, that you would withhold your applause until the end of each section. And then, well, you don't break the bulbs in the ceiling, but you can go as close to that as you want. And now just a word to these wonderful young folks coming up in just a minute. You know, I taught children. I've taught people from the age of 4 right up to into their 80s in my life. It's been a privilege to do so. And one thing that children really taught me, they taught me a great deal, was that we are all complete people at every stage of our lives, not partial people waiting to be completed. But there are such significant moments in that journey, and boy, oh boy, is this one of them this morning for you. Not very long to have to walk across this stage, but it really marks a transformation in your awareness, in your capacity, and in your responsibility to the world. And getting a university degree is no easy thing. So we're very proud of you. And I always suggest to graduates that you might like to notice, pay attention to some little moment that you can, or idea or notion that you can capture internally and keep so that you can revisit it on this very special day in your lives.
Madam Chancellor, in the name of the Senate of the University, I present to you the candidates for the undergraduate degrees approved for this session of convocation. I have certified to the Senate that these candidates have fulfilled all the requirements pertaining to the degrees. I therefore request that you admit them thereto.
On the authority of the Senate, I, as Chancellor, will now admit the candidates to these degrees and confer upon them all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities which belong thereto. I call upon them, on the hearing of their name, to present themselves before me, to assume the hood appropriate to the degree.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Honours. Ryan Patrick Clough, winner of the Helen Jones Convocation Award for Excellence in English.
Ryan Patrick Clough is from Torbay.
April Michelle Connolly.
April Michelle Connolly is from Portugal Cove, St. Philip's.
Jared Winston Llewellyn Simmons.
Jared Winston Llewellyn Simmons is from Cornerbrook.
Catherine Laura Stevenson.
Catherine Laura Stevenson is from St. John's.
and those who've been approved by the Senate for the degree but are absent from this convocation.
Admitted in absentia.
For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Benjamin Andrew Barber.
Benjamin Andrew Barber is from St. John's.
Isabel Maria Borja.
Isabel Maria Borja is from Clarenville.
Jensen Danielle Bowser.
Jensen Danielle Bowser is from Sackville, New Brunswick.
Stacy Madonna Carter.
Stacy Madonna Carter is from Torres Cove.
Cody William Stanley Churchill.
Cody William Stanley Churchill is from Portugal Cove, St. Philip's.
Jillian Elizabeth Cuff.
Jillian Elizabeth Cuff is from Paradise.
Maura Madonna Sarah Curran.
Moira Madonna Sarah Curran is from Goulds.
Chelsea Cheryl Lee DeYoung.
Chelsea Cheryl Lee DeYoung is from Brantford, Ontario.
Madison Sydney Doheny.
Madison Sydney Doheny is from Gander.
Cassandra Brianna Feke.
Cassandra Brianna Feke is from Old Fort Bay, Quebec.
Jonathan Edward Gertson.
Jonathan Edward Gertson is from Calgary, Alberta.
Connor Gerard Griffin.
Connor Gerard Griffin is from Port Williams, Nova Scotia.
Kenneth Frank Harris.
Kenneth Frank Harris is from St. John's.
Megan Judith Hart.
Megan Judith Hart is from St. John's.
Alex Joseph Hennessy.
Alex Joseph Hennessy is from Corner Brook.
Catherine Elizabeth Holloway.
Catherine Elizabeth Holloway is from Paradise.
Caitlin Rose Jardine.
Caitlin Rose Jardine is from Miramichi, New Brunswick.
Alyssa Gail Lucas.
Alyssa Gail Lucas is from St. John's.
Fatai Korede Lugbosho.
Fatai Korede Lugboso is from Abeokuta, Nigeria.
Chersty Louise McGuire.
Chersky Louise McGuire is from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia.
Owen David Milan.
Owen David Milan is from Portugal Cove, St. Philip's.
Ofure Momo.
Ofore Momo is from Treviso, Italy.
Katie Jane Morgan.
Katie Jane Morgan is from Dunville.
Kekwe Joanna Mwemba.
Kekwe Joanna Mwimba is from Aberdeen, Zambia.
Andrew Vaughn Gordon Paul.
Andrew Vaughn Gordon Paul is from St. John's.
Adam Joseph Power.
Adam Joseph Power is from Goulds.
Dylan Jason Todd Reed.
Dylan Jason Todd Reed is from Grand Falls, Windsor.
Christopher Alexander Richardson.
Christopher Alexander Richardson is from St. John's.
Colleen Siobhan Roach.
Colleen Siobhan Roach is from Riverview, New Brunswick.
Brittany Alexandra Taylor.
Brittany Alexandra Taylor is from Torbay.
Joshua Bruce Vallis Vey.
Joshua Bruce Vallis Vey is from Happy Valley Goose Bay.
Samantha Catherine Walsh.
Samantha Catherine Walsh is from St. John's.
Amy Marie Williams.
Amy Marie Williams is from Scarborough, Ontario.
Daniel Edwin Williams.
Daniel Edwin Williams is from Mount Pearl.
Lindsay Renee Woodford.
Lindsay Renee Woodford is from St. Anthony.
And those who've been approved by the Senate for the degree but are absent from this convocation.
Admitted in absentia.
For the degree of Bachelor of Science, Honours. Rabia Farmahan.
Rabia Farmahan is from Calgary, Alberta.
and those who have been approved by the Senate for the degree but are absent from this convocation.
Admitted in absentia.
For the degree of Bachelor of Science. Daniel Oluwa Damilare Aiki.
Daniel Olawada-Milar Aiki is from Lagos, Nigeria.
Shreya Biswas.
Shreya Biswas is from Kolkata, India.
Laura Hilary Blunden.
Laura Hilary Blunden is from Bloomfield.
Matthew Ernest Clark.
Matthew Ernest Clark is from St. John's.
Justin Edward Clift.
Justin Edward Clift is from Harbor, Maine.
Brooke Alicia Damone.
Brooke Alicia Damone is from Bridgewater, Nova Scotia.
Nicholas Peter Fanella.
Nicholas Peter Fanella is from Gander.
Delana Jocelyn Brianna Gormley.
Delania Jocelyn Brianna Gormley is from Heartland, New Brunswick.
Ryan Allen Hudson.
Ryan Allen Hudson is from Goshen, Nova Scotia.
Abigail Margaret Killen.
Abigail Margaret Killen is from Hillsborough, New Brunswick.
Samantha Ann Moores.
Samantha Ann Moores is from St. John's.
Mason Lee Nolan.
Mason Lee Nolan is from Gander.
Tyler Patrick Penton.
Tyler Patrick Penton is from Paradise.
Matthew Joshua Randall.
Matthew Joshua Randall is from Victoria.
Sheikat Saha.
Sheikat Saha is from Nalgon, Bangladesh.
Brenda Jimmy Samalu.
Brenda Jimmy Samalu is from Dar es Salaam, Tanzania.
Tony Marie Skinner.
Tony Marie Skinner is from Harbour Breton.
Emma Rose Susky.
Emma Rose Susky is from Paris, Ontario.
Nicole Renee Walsh.
Nicole Renee Walsh is from Mount Pearl.
Ku Yi Zhang.
Ku Yi Zhang is from St. John's.
and those who've been approved by the Senate for the degree but are absent from this convocation.
Admitted in absentia.
For the degree of Bachelor of Physical Education, Matthew Alfred Keynes.
Matthew Alfred Keynes is from St. John's.
Kyle Nicholas Careen.
Kyle Nicholas Careen is from Point Lance.
Melissa Benedict Gauthier Dobbin.
Melissa Benedict Gauthier Dobbin is from Valcourt, Quebec.
Joshua Francis Horwood.
Joshua Francis Horwood is from Paradise.
Rebecca Lee Marr.
Rebecca Lee Marr is from Petty Harbor.
Terry Elizabeth Murphy.
Terry Elizabeth Murphy is from St. John's.
And those who have been approved by the Senate for the degree but are absent from this convocation.
Admitted in absentia.
For the degree of Bachelor of Recreation Cooperative, Amanda Colleen Bobbitt.
Amanda Colleen Bobbitt is from Paradise.
Stephen Joseph Vanier.
Stephen Joseph Vanier is from North River, Nova Scotia.
For the degree of Bachelor of Recreation, Marissa Elizabeth Bartlett.
Marissa Elizabeth Bartlett is from Calgary, Alberta.
Melissa Marie Brown.
Melissa Marie Brown is from Mount Pearl.
Ashley Sarah Croak.
Ashley Sarah Croak is from Outer Cove.
Kirsten Lockwood.
Kirsten Lockwood is from Hammonds Plains, Nova Scotia.
Danielle Catherine Parsons.
Danielle Catherine Parsons is from Carbonear.
Melanie Beth Woodrow.
Melanie Beth Woodrow is from Conception Bay South.
And those who have been approved by the Senate for the degree but are absent from this convocation.
Admitted in absentia.
For the degree of Bachelor of Kinesiology Cooperative, Alana Isabel Kareen.
Alana Isabel Kareen is from St. John's.
And those who have been approved by the Senate for the degree but are absent from this convocation.
Admitted in absentia.
For the degree of Bachelor of Kinesiology. Haley Dale O'Driscoll.
Haley Dale O'Driscoll is from Bay Roberts.
And those who have been approved by the Senate for the degree but are absent from this convocation.
Admitted in absentia.
For the degree of Bachelor of Nursing. Tyrell John Andritz.
Tyrell John Andritz is from Corner Brook.
Carmen Antos.
Carmen Antos is from St. John's.
Ryan Patrick Bennett.
Ryan Patrick Bennett is from St. John's.
Kathleen Chantal Bissonnette.
Kathleen Chantal Bissonnette is from Upper Tantalon, Nova Scotia.
Danielle Ashley Blades.
Danielle Ashley Blades is from St. John's.
Paul Boulay.
Paul Boulay is from St. John's.
Deanna Marie Campbell.
Deanna Marie Campbell is from Cape Breton, Nova Scotia.
Annalise Caitlin Chase.
Annalise Caitlin Chase is from St. John's.
Samantha Jane Kuhn.
Samantha Jane Kuhn is from Burlington, Ontario.
Hilary Elizabeth Doyle.
Hilary Elizabeth Doyle is from St. John's.
Raylene Miriam Rosalind Guzny.
Raylene Miriam Rosalind Guzny is from Rocky Harbor.
Sandra Jane Hamilton.
Sandra Jane Hamilton is from Torbay.
Alexandria Frances Hawkins.
Alexandria Frances Hawkins is from Mount Pearl.
Kelton Ann MacDonnell.
Kelton Ann MacDonnell is from Enfield, Nova Scotia.
Katrina Marie Mercer.
Katrina Marie Mercer is from Dubai, United Arab Emirates.
Rebecca Nicole Moore.
Rebecca Nicole Moore is from Petty Harbor.
Rachel Cassandra Pace.
Rachel Cassandra Pace is from Conception Bay South.
Nicole Elizabeth Peddle.
Nicole Elizabeth Peddle is from Hodges Cove.
Gregory Gordon Penny.
Gregory Gordon Penny is from St. John's.
Candace Tanya Power.
Candace Tanya Power is from Paradise.
Dariana Mercedes Primera.
Dariana Mercedes Primera is from St. John's.
Catherine Marie Reddy.
Catherine Marie Reddy is from St. John's.
Justin Michael Rood.
Justin Michael Rood is from Sackville, Nova Scotia.
Sarah Lynn Sullivan.
Sarah Lynn Sullivan is from Clarenville.
Samantha Maria Taylor.
Samantha Maria Taylor is from Longreach, Nova Scotia.
Delisha Elizabeth Catherine Walsh.
Delisha Elizabeth Catherine Walsh is from Cupids.
And those who have been approved by the Senate for this convocation, for the degree, but are absent from this convocation.
Admitted in absentia.
Madam Chancellor, in the name of the Senate of the University, I present to you the candidates for the graduate degrees approved for this session of convocation. I have certified to the Senate that these candidates have fulfilled all the requirements pertaining to the degrees. I therefore request that you admit them thereto.
On the authority of the Senate, I, as Chancellor, will now admit the candidates to these degrees and confer upon them all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities which belong thereto. I call upon them, on the hearing of their names, to present themselves before me to assume the hood appropriate to the degree.
For the degree of Master of Arts, Marina Kamen.
Marina Kamen is from Torbay.
Jill Alexandra Jablonski.
Jill Alexandra Jablonski is from Erie, Michigan.
Allison Colpitts Judd.
Allison Colpitts Judd is from Fredericton, New Brunswick.
Julian Kapramvuti.
Julian Kapmvuti is from St. John's.
Gerard Mulcahy.
Gerard Mulcahy is from Babels.
Luang Nguyen.
Luan Ying is from St. John's.
Christiana Omatola Abedin.
Christiana Omotola Abadin is from Lagos, Nigeria.
Olotiande Akinola Olasanye.
Olotuande Akinola Olusanya is from Ijebu Igbo, Nigeria.
Lauren Omson.
Lauren Omson is from Brampton, Ontario.
Troy Nicholas Osmond.
Troy Nicholas Osmond is from Gander.
Donnie Harry Persad.
Donnie Harry Persad is from Toronto, Ontario.
Stephanie Catherine Pyle.
Stephanie Catherine Pyle is from Elora, Ontario.
Michelle Robertson.
Michelle Robertson is from St. John's.
Paul Craig Warford.
Paul Craig Warford is from St. John's.
Bryn Ford Wood.
Bryn Ford Wood is from Happy Valley Goose Bay.
Tanyan Yi.
Tanyan Yi is from Fujian, China.
And those who have been approved by the Senate for the degree but are absent from this convocation.
Admitted in absentia.
For the degree of Master of Philosophy. Christine Barbieri.
Christine Barbieri is from Montreal, Quebec.
For the degree of Master of Physical Education, Kimberly Crocker.
Kimberly Crocker is from Paradise.
And those who have been approved by the Senate for the degree but are absent from this convocation.
Admitted in absentia.
For the degree of Master of Social Work. Lindsay Ann Paget.
Lindsay Ann Paget is from St. John's.
Lorianne Pilgrim Greening.
Lorianne Pilgrim Greening is from Clarenville.
Melanie Dawn Shea Prophet.
Melanie Dawn Shea Prophet is from Alberton, Prince Edward Island.
And those who have been approved by the Senate for this degree but are absent from this convocation.
Admitted in absentia.
For the degree of Master of Nursing, Matthew David Brake.
Matthew David Brake is from Mount Pearl.
Ashley Nicole Crocker.
Ashley Nicole Crocker is from Eastern Passage, Nova Scotia.
Chantel Irene Haynes.
Chantel Irene Haynes is from Conception Bay South.
Cynthia Marie Higdon.
Cynthia Marie Higdon is from Conception Bay South.
Lindsay Alyssa Kelly Hunt.
Lindsay Alyssa Kelly Hunt is from St. John's.
Helen Taylor Kerr.
Helen Taylor Kerr is from Yarmouth, Nova Scotia.
For the degree of Master of Science in Medicine, Sharmeen Jalal Chowdhury.
Sharmeen Jalal Chowdhury is from St. John's.
Zakia Naheen Hock.
Zakia Naheen Hock is from St. John's.
Aliona Fatmata Lewis.
Aliona Fatmata Lewis is from St. John's.
Alexander John McDonald Norman.
Alexander John McDonald Norman is from St. John's.
Emily Melinda Pye.
Emily Melinda Pye is from St. John's.
John Charles Snow.
John Charles Snow is from St. John's.
Anusri Subramonian.
Anusri Subramonian is from Toronto, Ontario.
And those who have been approved by the Senate for the degree but are absent from this convocation.
Admitted in absentia.
For the degree of Master of Science in Kinesiology, Jonathan Laron Lowe.
Jonathan Laron Lowe is from Lethbridge, Alberta.
Anna Pearl Nippert.
Anna Pearl Nippert is from Conception Bay South.
Lucas John Stefanelli.
Lucas John Stefanelli is from Paradise.
And those who have been approved by the Senate for the degree but are absent from this convocation.
Admitted in absentia.
For For the degree of Master of Public Health, Saleh Alazabi.
Saleh Elazabi is from St. John's.
Samuel Robert Fellows.
Samuel Robert Fellows is from St. John, New Brunswick.
Olivia Catherine Lebel Genereux.
Olivia Catherine Lebel Genereux is from Calgary, Alberta.
Ahmed Kaur.
Ahmed Kaur is from St. John's.
Hannah Kimberly Lane.
Hannah Kimberly Lane is from Gander.
Michelle Louis.
Michelle Louis is from Edmonton, Alberta.
Amanda Shelby Mansfield.
Amanda Shelby Mansfield is from Mount Pearl.
Natasha Elizabeth Clara Murphy.
Natasha Elizabeth Clara Murphy is from Corner Brook.
Amy Marie O'Driscoll.
Amy Marie O'Driscoll is from St. John's.
Jillian Nicole Pollard.
Jillian Nicole Pollard is from Torbay.
Kian Rye Power.
Kian Rye Power is from Mount Pearl.
Margaret Veronica Power.
Margaret Veronica Power is from Marystown.
Samantha Danielle Lisa Smith.
Samantha Danielle Lisa Smith is from Marystown.
And those who have been approved by the Senate for the degree but are absent from this convocation.
Admitted in absentia.
row and row that mark our place, and in the sky the lark still bravely singing fly. Scarce heard amid the guns below, we are the dead, short days ago. We lived, felt thoughts, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields, in Flanders fields, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up your quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw, the torch be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields, in Flanders fields. We shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields, in Flanders
We have been hearing from the, don't go yet. I didn't say thank you to you yet. We have been hearing from the students of the School of Music who are taking the opera workshop program, and that is directed by Dr. Caroline Schiller and Dr. Ellen Murray of the School of Music. And would you just take a bow from where you are? I'm not going to say everybody's name, but you were wonderful. And also hidden talent in behind the curtains. Playing for them today were two other School of Music students, Esme Gilbert and Stephen Eckert. Thank you very much for this meeting. We shall now proceed with the conferring of the degree honoris causa.
For the degree of Doctor of Science honoris causa, Geoffrey Alan Parker.
Madame Chancellor, we are honored today by the presence of Emeritus Professor Geoffrey Alan Parker of the University of Liverpool. He is an evolutionary theorist whose research has changed how we think of sex. Even if we are not biologists who know that the size of gametes really does matter, or who allow that spermatozoa can be personified as competitive, we have probably been affected by behavioral ecology and some of its corrections to Charles Darwin's classic theories. On the theory of evolution, as I understand it, Dr. Parker shifted the emphasis from the survival of the species to the family and the individuals within it. Dr. Parker has also helped us to recognize that species thrive not only because of the genetic makeup of families and individuals, but also because of how those individuals relate to each other. Although his most cited research is not about humans necessarily, one implication of Dr. Parker's work is that we as a species still need to realize that we are far more connected to other living beings than we tend to think, and that our own survival depends on how well we can learn to behave toward them. These are big ideas, big lessons, but anyone who is a student here might be encouraged to know that an illustrious career such as Dr. Parker's could start with very familiar uncertainties. He intended to go into medicine at the University of Bristol, but struggled initially in mathematics, and even after switching into biology, he didn't excel in botany. Zoology was his forte. As an undergraduate beginning to get his wings, Dr. Parker completed a final undergraduate assignment on how birds generate the power to fly, flight biomechanics. But unlike some birds that unfurl from the hydro wire, beat con brio out across the field and hover, to quote the poet Don Mackay, Dr. Parker did not hover, at least not with the birds. True, he was interested in jazz music at the time, and still is, and he might have been listening to the jazz standard Ornithology by Charlie Bird Parker, no relation. In fact, in his doctoral research and later in his career, Dr. Parker veered away from birds. He didn't fly from birds to bees, but he did begin innovating mathematically with the application of cost-benefit analyses to the sexual behavior of dung flies. He was also one of the first to use game theory in studies of animal behavior, and he coined the phrase sperm competition. Many of the professors and other writers among us today might be awed to hear that Dr. Parker's 1970 article on sperm competition has been cited over 4,000 times, depending on your source. For those of you who are students or others whose benchmarks are memes and other viral phenomena on the internet, 4,000 might not seem to be an impressive number. But in my field of literary studies, our senior professors might max out with 150 citations of a single essay. Dr. Parker has since been affirmed by over a dozen personal distinctions, including fellowship in the Royal Society of London and the Royal Society's Darwin Medal, and various other medals in zoology and animal behavior. Madame Chancellor, we are delighted that Dr. Parker would accept a further distinction from us today. I present to you, for the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa, Dr. Geoffrey Alan Parker.
By virtue of the authority entrusted to me, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Geoffrey A. Parker has made distinguished contributions to evolutionary biology, in particular to frequency dependency in the evolution of animal behavior and sexuality. Dr. Parker earned a Bachelor of Science and a doctoral degree from the University of Bristol. His PhD provided detailed quantitative tests of Darwin's theory of sexual selection and early applications of optimality theory in biology. In 1978-79, Dr. Parker was made a senior research fellow in the Research Center at King's College, Cambridge University, and in 1989, he was elected to the Royal Society of London.
Dr. Parker, may I now call upon you to address convocation?
Madam Chancellor, Mr. President, members of the Board of Regents, members of the Senate and faculty, members of the graduating class, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I thank most sincerely the Vice-Chancellor and President, the faculty and staff of Memorial University for this great honour that you've bestowed on me at the ceremony today. I'm deeply grateful to all those who were involved in my nomination and selection, and of course to my aide, Dr. Purchase, for this week. This honorary doctorate is something I very profoundly appreciate. It's a great honour. It's a great pleasure to congratulate you, the graduates, for your wonderful achievement today. You've made it. There have been many times, I'm sure, when you thought it may never happen, but it has. Congratulations also to your families, friends, teachers, for the often very substantial roles that they've had in helping you, or do I mean actually bullying you, towards graduation, the culmination of all that hard work, stress, misery, occasional joy and fun. You'll never forget your years, I think, at Memorial. They'll become very special, very cherished memories. In preparing this address, I was mindful of that W.H. Auden defined a professor as one who talks in someone else's sleep. Very long ago, when I had hair, I used to give a very early Monday morning lecture on animal behaviour to a sea of grey, sleepy, hungover faces. On one such dismal occasion, I thought I'd try an experiment. So I began with a line from a poem, which had nothing to do with the lecture. Grey day dawning, once more warning that this mind, the graveyard of 1,000 dreams, grows old and cold and ebbs away. Only 2 of that class looked at me with puzzled expressions. The rest solemnly took note. I awaited their exam answers with great interest. Graduates, I've been given this opportunity to offer you advice about how you might conduct your lives from this glorious moment on. Whether anyone's ever really qualified to do that, I'm not sure. All I can say that my own life has been great, great fun and very fulfilling. To spend your life working on your hobby is about as good as it gets, really. But that means, I think, that I've been immensely lucky, and I owe a great deal, a great debt, to the very many kind people who helped and supported me, my family and friends, that is, my school and university teachers, some great scientists, and many other people. It takes a long time to realize how great the debt is that we owe to other people. You may not feel it yet, graduates, but I think you will. I'd certainly urge you to chase your dreams, not literally. I definitely wouldn't advise that, actually. But your interests, your hope, your aspirations. I began, as you've heard, studying medicine, following what I should have realized was the wrong track. Fortunately for me, probably even more so for my future patients, I switched from medicine to zoology after 2 weeks, not very long. I was obsessed, really, with animals, wildlife. Zoology was my thing. never regretted it at all, though at the time I found changing courses very difficult. It was early in life and it was a difficult thing to do. My meeting, I have to say, with the Dean of Medicine was not a pleasant experience, and I was more than relieved to be more than 200 miles away from my father at the time. But it did teach me a very valuable lesson. Follow your dream, and when you've made a mistake, rectify it before it's too late, however hard this seems at the time. A second lesson that you've heard about it as well is that it's good to be obsessive about something, as I was about zoology, but not, of course, if this makes you neglect everything else. I found my subsidiary course in botany rather less than exciting, and almost came to disaster at the end of my first year, which would have meant that I certainly wouldn't have been standing before you now. So, as my dear wife is always telling me, moderate enthusiasm with practicality. What did I do immediately after graduation? Well, possibly not the smartest move socially, as you've heard. I began a PhD on a topic about as squalid as it gets, sex life of dung flies, yes. And even worse, this was my choice. I wasn't forced into it. I wanted to study it because it was really so fascinating. I mean, males frantically search and fight for females around fresh cow pats, and after mating, each male guards his mate while she lays her eggs. This rather sleazy preoccupation had its downside. Some normal person would inevitably ask what I worked on. My usual hesitating response was agricultural research. I very much hoped they wouldn't delve further, but they usually did, I'm afraid. I fitted the popular view of a scientist as a weirdo, obsessed with esoteric minutiae of no relevance to anything whatsoever, and worse, using public money to do it. But the dung flies were a catalyst. Firstly, they provided direct quantitative evidence for sexual selection, Darwin's explanation for the differences between the sexes, something that had been largely neglected for many, many decades. Second, what I'd seen around the cowpats stimulated questions, very general questions. I mean, why are there two sexes, not, say, 3, 4, or 7? How should one exploit a habitat when others are competing? How will evolution shape fighting strategy? Does sexual selection carry on after mating? So these dear squalid little flies launched me into a career as an evolutionary theorist, into deeper questions and the search for answers. I was really amazingly lucky. I can certainly recommend luck, actually. At that time, ecologists and behaviorists usually interpreted adaptations in terms of survival value to the species, and I'd interpreted what I'd seen in terms of reproductive costs and benefits to individuals. At that time, this approach was rather rare, but it did become the basis of a new discipline called behavioral ecology that exploded in the 1970s. But as you've also heard, as a theorist, I faced a major problem. To make progress, I really needed algebraic models. Now, I'd unfortunately given up on mathematics at around age 14. I couldn't see any point in it whatsoever. It was incredibly stupid of me, because now, suddenly, I couldn't achieve anything without it. I spent hours with the little book, Teach Yourself Calculus, and gradually began to see a great beauty in mathematics, completely reversing my schoolboy prejudice. You might be surprised, actually, to find what you can do when you have to. There's nothing like necessity for overcoming what seems to be impossible. Innovation is given high priority in Memorial University's mission statement. Whatever direction your career takes, you'll find that progress is often the result of imagination and novelty. The quest to understand, really, is what science is all about. It's about asking and answering questions. And we try to do it by evidence and logic. Big advances are usually, breakthroughs are usually the result of new ideas and curiosity. And those graduating in art subjects will know that it's imaginative flair and new approaches that yield deeper insights. Not by logic and evidence, but by emotions, stimulating emotions, new visions. Advances in vocational and technological subjects also depend fundamentally on innovation. And of course, in everything, hard work and commitment's essential. Graduation's a ticket. It gives you the opportunity to enter occupations that would otherwise be difficult or impossible. Just remember, though, that there are some very clever people out there who haven't had the privilege of your education. Never, never underestimate them. Graduation generates a mindset. It gives you the confidence to know that you can achieve your goals, even if they're difficult and require a lot of effort. It raises your confidence in your own abilities. But always, I think, be respectful and considerate to other people, and don't ever abuse power. Genghis Khan isn't a really great role model. Graduation is an end and a beginning. It's the end of a prescribed route of learning, starting on your first day at school and culminating in this ceremony. It's the beginning of the unpredictable. When you leave here, you're truly your own person. Your future is squarely in your own hands. Of course, your association with this wonderful, unique city, this wonderful university, and the friends you value needn't end, of course, and I hope it won't. But it's all down to you now, really. Have a sense of humility. Remember that the human species occupies barely a flicker in the 3 to 4 billion years of life on our planet. In turn, each human life actually represents an even smaller flicker within the 2 million years or so of human evolution. But our life is all that we have. And each one of us is the winner against millions to 1 odds of a remarkable fertilization lottery, as you've heard about. How tremendously fortunate we are to live, to exist at all. And life's too great an opportunity to be squandered or taken for granted. It's good, very good, I think. And for you graduates, it all lies ahead. I envy you greatly that. Today, at least, is not then a grey day dawning, and your minds are not growing old and cold, though I'm afraid mine probably is. You're immensely fortunate. You're at the most exciting time of your life. And let nobody demean you because of your youth. Yours is the age of greatest innovation and creativity, a time when your imagination is most vivid, your senses, emotions, and perceptions most acute. Experience, of course, is valuable too, but it's almost as if these two sides of a coin, innovation and experience, trade off against each other. And if I had to choose, I'd certainly go for innovation and creativity. Remember, I think, the words of Albert Hubbard, the famous American writer and philosopher, that we work to become, not to acquire. And remember as well that your work, you need your work, your commitment to your work, but you also need hobbies, your friends, and most of all, your family. So embrace the future, fulfill your ambitions, and strive to contribute all you can to your work, to your friends, families, and to your society. Above all, I think, strive to be good citizens. Be amiable, understanding, enthusiastic, and positive, because life's very short, so enjoy it. Today is a most happy occasion, both for you and for me. I hope you'll remember it all your lives. I'm sure you will. It's truly a great privilege to be here and to be given this opportunity to wish you all every future happiness and success. You are the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Parker, for your terrific address to the students. So many lessons to learn, and I loved the humor too, as everybody in the room did. A great man with great accomplishments, and in the guise of a human being addressing everybody. Yes, yes. So that brings to a close your formal part of your convocation day. I have enjoyed every second of meeting you and sharing in your accomplishments today. And I hope that it's been that kind of time for you, and you have some little nugget to take away and take it out when you're 73 and think about it again. Just want to make you aware that you're still with the Memorial family. You are alumni, and we hope that you stay connected to us, stay interested in what we're doing. And also, we want to thank you for choosing to come to Memorial University. You had lots of choices, and so you have helped not only yourself grow through this time, but you've helped us grow, and we really appreciate that. We have a wonderful motto. I don't know how much you've come up against it in your time here, but it's a really culturally appropriate motto for Memorial University, and it's Provehito in altum. And it means launch forth into the deep. And this is truly a launching forth day for you. But I'd really encourage you. It might seem like a strange thing to say, but people are always encouraging groups and each other to be empathic towards other people, to encourage them, all of these kinds of things that you would never dream would be not a good thing to do. I'd like you to think about doing that for yourself, to be empathic for yourself, to be dutiful to yourself, because we always think of doing that for other people first. Because if you do care for yourself in that way, it will help you trust yourselves. You have all the power you ever need to do whatever you want to do and whatever you can do. But trusting yourself feeds your belief, feeds your capacity. And we don't very often, or I think we don't often think about that as often as we can. So I encourage you to say that. We had a wonderful celebration recently at the New Signal Hill campus. Every year Memorial honors some of its alumni who have made accomplishments through their lives in the community and in their working life. And one of the members of the Board of Regents is an engineer named Fred Cal, and he won an award. And he gave a lovely address and a meaningful address in accepting his award. And he quoted Churchill at the end. This is something that Winston Churchill said. So this is just by way of a suggestion as you leave today, as you launch forth into the day. He said, Churchill said, "We make a living by getting, but we make a life by what we give." And so if you give to yourself and get that trust going and that believing, and then you do the giving, we're going to be in a wonderful world. So one more task. I would like to ask you to stand and receive more thunderous applause for your accomplishment today. Graduates turn and say a thank you to all the people who've helped them to this point, and I'm sure we'll be continuing to help them down the road. We're going to close your ceremony by the singing of the first and last verses of the Ode to Newfoundland, which you will find on the inside cover of your program if you're not familiar with them, the first and last verses. And then you will go forth into this lovely day enjoying the fruits of your labors.
Doctors Terry Lynn Young, Kathy Hodgkinson, Sean Connors, and Darrell Pullman were the first recipients from Memorial University to receive a Governor General's Innovation Award. The Faculty of Medicine researchers were recognized for their groundbreaking discovery and treatment of a cardiac muscle disorder known as arrhythmogenic right ventricular cardiomyopathy, or ARVC. The group has also spearheaded the establishment of life-saving screening methods and changes to important health legislation. Memorial University is home to 5 new Canada Research Chairs, one of the country's highest honors for research excellence. The Faculty of Science is pleased to host a Tier 1 Canada Research Chair in Biological Oceanographic Processes and a Tier 2 Canada Research Chair in Marine Physiological Ecology, both with the Department of Ocean Sciences, and a Tier 1 Canada Research Chair in Boreal Biogeochemistry.